Hi guys, how are you all? I'm back with a new episode. I hope all of you enjoy my video. I'm back with a new video of What If Ash Can Understand Pokemon. Chapter 5, The Book of Mom Q562. Oh, baby, Delia said, crouching down. Ash, it's... Mom, I'm not a baby, Ash defended himself. I've got to the top 8 in the Silver Conference. Not many people do that. Only 8 a year, I think, Ketchum said. Delia shook her head. Ash, you'll always be my baby. She reached out, giving him a hug with sudden strength and conviction, and Ash sort of shifted forwards a bit on his hind legs, rearing up on his forelegs so he could hug his mom back. It's difficult, she admitted. Getting used to the fact this is how you look now. But you're still my baby, Ash. Ash blinked a few times, mostly not sure what to say, then felt one of his mom's hands stroking against his fur. Mom, that tickles, he complained. It's so soft, she said. Ash, well, I don't know what to say about any of this. I'm sorry if I'm not saying things I should say, or doing things I shouldn't do. This is newer for me than it is for you, even, because you've had some time to get used to all the details. I've only known I'm probably a legendary Pokemon since yesterday, Ash replied, then squirmed a bit and his mother let him down from their hug. So that's kind of new, but I guess I was suspicious anyway. And I still don't know what it means for Dad. Except that he may have looked like you do now. Ketchum twitched his ears. Got any family photos? I think if Dad looked like I do now it would have been much less of a surprise, Ash replied. Well, Delia began, then shook her head. There's a fair with things about hair color, but otherwise I can't see anything that would have made me suspicious even if you'd know the kind of Pokemon you are existed. Later that evening, Ash was out in the paddock with his Pokemon when his mother approached him. It's a nice night, isn't it? She asked. Yeah, it is, Ash agreed, looking up at the sky. They were silent for a long moment, then Ash sighed slightly. I hope I find Dad, he said. Out there somewhere, I mean. It'd be nice to know what I am, to go with who I am. There is a difference, Delia nodded. What you are has changed, but who you are is just the same. I knew that, but it's good to hear you say it too, Ash admitted. It makes it more real, I think. Delia smiled. After a few more minutes of silence, broken mostly by the thunder of 30 tappers stampeding past, she frowned. How do you plan to find your father, Ash? She asked. You said you were going to try, but I don't think you mentioned how. Oh, one just thought I'd go to Hone and see if I bump into someone who knows something. Ash replied. I've already met, Hang on. 1, 2. At least 11 legendary Pokemon, not counting myself, so I should meet a few more down there. 11? Delia repeated. That is a lot. She smiled. And, Ash, good luck. She smiled. And, Ash, good luck. Thanks. Ash beamed. Chapter 6, The Book of Mabel Q562. Well, here we are, Ash said. Little Roo Town. Lashes made a whistling noise. Hang on, let me check, Ketchum requested, squinting at a nearby sign. Okay, yeah, this is Little Root. We're on a ferry coming straight here, Ketchum, Ash chuckled. Still not going to take it on faith when you say where we are, Ash, Pikachu replied. I know you. Lashes zipped up in the air to have a look around, then descended back to Ash's side. D's a good thing that being invisible like this isn't actually a move, or I'll be way too tired after so many days mostly invisible. I know I could stay in my Pokeball, but that'd be so boring. Yeah, it's kind of a pain, but I guess a Zoroark pretending to be a human would have the same thing, Ash said. Okay, so, Professor Oak said I should speak to Professor Birch, I think. And he's supposed to have a lab in Little Root. Ash, Pikachu and Lashes collectively contemplated finding their way through an unfamiliar town to a place they didn't actually know. I'll ask someone, Ash decided, trotting over to the first person he saw on the street. Excuse me? They didn't seem to be doing anything, except looking at Ash with their mouth open. A talking Pokemon? The man said, as Ash reached him. Huh. Now I've seen everything. If that's your definition of seen everything, you haven't, Pikachu observed. Be nice, Pikachu, Ash chuckled, then turned his attention back to the man he'd approached. Do you know the way to Professor Birch's lab? Oh, the man said. It's actually quite obvious, it's the big building with the glass curved roof. There's a big Pokeball on a plinth outside? Thanks. Ash told him. We'll find it now. With a description like that, Lashes was able to just fly up and find the lab in moments. That in turn led her to guiding Ash along one road and then the second one to the Birch lab, and then they were inside so Ash could go the rest of the way. Now I'm thinking that you probably needed help from someone like Lashes or Noctowl even. While you were human, Pikachu suggested. You know, like there are canine Pokemon who act as seeing eye dogs. A finding map Pokemon. Pikachu, Ash protested, but he was trying not to giggle and Lashes wasn't trying not to giggle, and it was hard to complain about a good joke. Then the door opened, and Professor Birch looked him up and down. My goodness. You're just as Oak described. Come in, my name's Professor Birch. You are Ash Ketchum, correct? That's me. Ash confirmed. And this is Pikachu. Hi. Pikachu waved. I've got another Pokemon with me but she's a bit shy, Ash added, as Birch held the door open for him. So I guess it's up to her if she introduces herself. I understand, Birch said. Come on through to the main room and I'll get things sorted out for you. How did this happen, by the way? Oak said it was magic, but I'm not sure Elle can believe that. It gathers power from the plates, listening for the flute's song, Ash recited. That sounds like it's out of order. What's the it? I guess we'll find out eventually, Brock decided, as Pikachu typed that one into the Pokédex. And, Trico, Ash went on. I think you did great, but Roxanne's right, you really do need a grass move. But you could probably do with that other move. Iron Tail, I think? And you and Pikachu could learn together. Well, the best way I can explain it is that it was magic, Ash apologized. I drank a magic potion made in a cauldron by a woman with a pointy hat and who called herself a witch, and now I'm a Pokémon. Birch blinked, slowly. I think I'm starting to understand how Professor Oak has those good pictures of legendary Pokémon. He pushed open the door to a brightly lit room, again holding it open for Ash, and an invisible Lashes, to pass through after him. then went over to the computer. Let's see. Here we are. So I'm going to register you for the Home League. And you're having your automatic return threshold raised, is that correct? That's right. Ash said. I wouldn't normally mind having just 6 as the normal limit, but I'm a Pokemon, so I count as one, and I really need the help of at least one Pokemon just to take things out of my bag, so Professor Oak said it was best if I raised it to 8. I see. Birch nodded slowly, half his attention on the keyboard. And update that. Leave that the same. Can I have your Pokédex? I can scan it to fill in all the ID fields at once. Lashes picked it out of Ash's bag, then held it out with an invisible pair of claws, and when Birch looked around he jumped. Oh. Thank you. This is that shy Pokémon you mentioned? Right. Ash agreed. Thanks. Then the door to the room opened again. Is Professor Birch in? What Pokémon is that? A girl asked. And why is it wearing a hat? Pikachu, thinking quickly, snatched Ash's new hat out of his bag. Pikachu, he said. Oh, you're wearing my spare hat, Pikachu? Ash asked. That's Pikachu. He's my starter Pokémon. This did not seem to clear things up for the girl, but Lashes did start giggling again. After introductions had happened, Ash's team, counting both himself and Lashes as part of his team, in a technical sense, knew that the girl they had just met was called May Maple. And May knew that Ash was Ash. You'll probably meet May's father soon, Birch said, cheerfully. He's the Petalburg. He noticed how May was trying to get him to stop, and amended himself. Resident? He's the resident? Ash asked. How big is Petalburg? It's a city, May said. But my dad's nobody special. Unlike you, apparently. How come you're a Pokémon? Magic, Ash explained, which didn't help. But you're here for something with Professor Birch, right? I should get sorted out so he can move on to you. It's fine, the applications take a few minutes to process, Birch told him. If you don't Minty can handle May while we wait? Ash waved his hoof. Sure. Okay, let's see, Birch went on, checking his notes. So, you're here to get a starter Pokémon, and you don't have any special preferences. May winced. Well, more like. I don't really think he'll get on with any Pokémon, not properly. How come? Ash asked, tilting his head. I get why you wouldn't get on with some Pokémon, but not getting on with any Pokémon. Pokémon are so varied, and they're such good friends so often, I don't really get how that's possible. He indicated Pikachu. And how things start doesn't mean anything about how it goes on, either. When I first got Pikachu we really didn't get on well, because he was really touchy and didn't like being caught. Touchy? Pikachu replied. Touchy? Your mom did not ask for permission before squeezing me like that. And the leash and rubber gloves didn't help either. Yeah, I was an idiot, Ash agreed. And I guess Mom hadn't been in close touch with a Pokémon for a while, so she didn't. Remember, you have to ask them before doing that. But anyway, once we got to know each other, it didn't take long, we worked really well together, and we still do now. Ash drummed a hoof on the lab floor, a bit nervously. So, I guess what I'm saying is, it's really hard for me to imagine how you could not get on with Pokémon at all. If you're afraid of them, it might make sense, But then I sort of wonder why you're here. For a starter Pokemon? Does that make sense? Lashes shrugged. Most of the trained Pokemon I've met have been yours, Brox or Mistus, Ash. What was that weird squeaking noise? May asked. It wasn't Pikachu. Oops, Lashes said. That's one of my friends, Ash replied. She's not used to being around people. May looked like that hadn't helped any more than the magic explanation had, then visibly remembered Ash's earlier question. Well, I want to travel, May explained. And that means having a Pokemon. That's my main reason for it. Ash thought about that, for a long moment. I think you should probably make sure your Pokemon knows that, he said. But at the same time, you should never tell yourself that you're not going to try and make friends, just because you weren't planning to. If it doesn't work out between you, it doesn't work out, but it's got to be way better to travel with a Pokemon who you're friends with, right? The computer went bing. Oh, that's Ash's application done, Professor Birch said. I'll just well, I suppose May will need time to make her decision. I'll show you the starter Pokemon. He sent out a Mudkip, a Trico and a Torchic, but by the time he was done Ash was frowning again. Professor? He said. I never thought of this before, but why is it that it's only 3 starter Pokemon choices? Professor Oak did that as well, sort of. He only gave 4 options and one of them was Pikachu. Wouldn't it be better to have more than 1 Trico, more than 1 Torchic and more than 1 Mudkip? It might be, but there's problems with availability, Birch admitted. I could give plenty of choice of Zigzagoon, but most people don't really appreciate that kind of choice. Through a process that made sense to someone, presumably, May and Ash ended up leaving the Birch Labs together. May with her Torchic, who was the one choice out of May's 3 options who sounded like he was okay with the idea of giving it a go and seeing if I get on with you, Ash with his properly registered trainer card and updated settings. And Lashes with Pikachu, who'd elected to ride on her back for now. I still think that Mudkip was rude, Ash said, looking back at the labs. She might not have wanted to go with you, but there was no need for that. No kidding, Lashes agreed. Who tries to attack someone if... Well, you said you wanted to travel, but what do you want to do while you travel? Huh? May asked. Ash, people travel for reasons that aren't challenging gyms, Pikachu sniggered. Like what? Ash replied. They went past someone heading in the other direction, who seemed to be quite confused by the sight of them. It was hard to be sure, but he kept staring at them right from the moment they came into line of sight and kept staring until they went past, jogging straight ahead all the way. Which made it a bit of a pity the road curved there, really. They got to Petalburg by about the middle of the afternoon, which left Ash's legs aching slightly after an unusual kind of workout, and something occurred to him as he followed May to the Petalburg gym. Depending on whether you want to meet more Pokemon, it might actually be a bad idea to cycle everywhere, he said. It makes it harder to meet Pokemon because you go past them so quickly, they don't have a chance to meet you and you don't have a chance to meet them either. And I guess if you don't want more Pokemon, that's fine, but you end up losing the chance. Pikachu sniggered. And, Ash being Ash, he'd probably trip over a good Pokemon for him, but it's a good point anyway. I guess that's a good point, but... May shrugged. I'm still not sure if I'm going to catch more Pokemon at all. I mostly got a Pokemon because my dad thought it was a good idea, not because... Well... She shrugged, and Ash frowned. Well, if you decide what to do, that might help, he said. We could try out having a battle in a bit. This is the gym, right? May nodded. Ash knocked on the door with a hoof, and it opened. Aha, Challenger. A young boy said. Welcome to Why Are You a Pokemon with Pokemon Are You? Is that a flying Pikachu? Hi May. What's going on? That's funny, Ash frowned, glancing at May. Didn't you say this was the gym? As it turned out, this was the gym, but the young boy wasn't the gym leader. Instead, he was May's younger brother Max, and their father Norman was the gym leader. Fascinating, Norman said, once he'd shaken Ash's hoof. So you're a Pokemon and a trainer. Yes, I did hear something about that. What type are you? I don't actually know, Ash admitted. Professor Oak wasn't sure of a good way to test it. Fortunately, I've got an idea about that, Norman told him. You see, the normal type isn't just the type of the most basic no-frills Pokemon. Despite how it might sound. It's the most fundamental type of all, and I know just how to find out what type you might be, because the normal type combines with so many others. You see, the best way to find out what type you are involves immunities. Ash thought about that. Right, he said. So, like how? Electric types can't be paralyzed, fire types can't be burned, dark types are immune to psychic attacks, and how most people think ground types can't be hurt by electric attacks? I mean how? Norman frowned. They are immune to electric attacks. Huh, that's funny, Ash frowned. That's how I won at least 2 badges. Well, let's see what we can find out, Norman decided. In here okay? He rummaged around among his Pokeballs. Let's see. Start with Kecleon. Is that alright? I don't know if you've been hit by attacks before, because you're a trainer. Pikachu's shocked me a few times. Ash admitted readily, trotting out to the middle of the gym floor. It's okay, though, I know Recover, though I haven't practiced with it yet. Well, Kecleon knows a few attacks that are going to matter here, but he's not very strong, so that works out quite well, Norman said. I usually use him for 2 badge battles because he's a great test of if someone bothers to learn more than one useful move. Kecleon came out with a flash, and scratched his head. This is a weird situation, he decided. Yeah, we're experimenting, Ash agreed. Shadow Ball. Norman called. The attack went right through Ash. Well, that was quick, Norman added. Congratulations, Ash, you're a normal type. Now all we need to do is work out if you have another type as well. He clapped his hands together. And I specialize in the normal type. So I've got some tips for you. It took a lot more experimenting, but eventually they concluded that Ash wasn't any of Ghost, Steel, Fire, Grass, Electric, Flying, Poison, Dark or Fairy type, plus ruling out Ground and Rock thanks to Sandstorm and Ice thanks to Hail. That left Ash's possible other type as Dragon, Psychic, Water, Bug or Fighting, if he had one at all, and left Pikachu looking very worried. Are you going to stop now? He asked. Seeing all that happened to Ash is giving me anxiety. Pikachu thinks we should stop, Ash said. It's been helpful though. He glowed faintly. It's the first time I've had a chance to practice recover. You're a good kid, Ash, Norman said. I don't think I'll be this optimistic if I was in a situation like yours. I figured that it'd be a good chance to get a gym battle, Ash replied. Now to win my first home Pokemon badge. Now, that I can do, Norman agreed. Since you don't have any home badges, we'll give you the choice. Do you want this to be a serious battle where I try at a high level, or something easier? I don't know if you've got Pokemon you want to train up from here or not. Something part way up the scale would be best, Ash decided. I got some of the Pokemon L used in the Silver Conference with me, but mostly Fanpy is new and Young and Unknown is new. Then there's my friend, who could take part if she wants. What do you think? I think I could give it a go! L, Lashes squeaked back. Think Norman's been nice so far. But I'm not very experienced. Oh, so that's how Pikachu is flying, Norman decided. And it shrugged off a lot of hidden power attacks, but eventually enough hidden power. Fighting's proved decisive and knocked slacking out. Now, you said she's not very experienced, so I've picked Blissey, Norman said, sending the normal type out. She's tough, but, well, let's see if you can deal with her. Pikachu crossed from Lash's back to Ash's back, and Lashes decloaked. But that, Max began, pointing. Isn't that, there's a legendary Pokemon. She's beautiful, May whispered. Wow. Lashes waved, a bit embarrassed, then focused on Blissey. Okay, Ash, what should I do? Begin with Headbutt, Ash said. Got it. Lashes replied, actually using the move this time, and knocked Blissey through the wall. Right, Norman mused. Physics. I should remember to discuss that first. A few minutes later, Blissey had been retrieved and Norman got out one of his badges. This is the balance badge, he said, crouching down to make it easier on Ash, and Ash took it. Then looked around. There it is again. That voice, right? Pikachu asked. What did it say this time? 3 beings whose power can hold both time and space fixed, Ash repeated. Did I change color? I don't think I did. Can't see any sign from here, Pikachu reported. It took a lot more experimenting, but eventually they concluded that Ash wasn't any of Ghost, Steel, Fire, Grass, Electric, Flying, Poison, Dark or Fairy type, plus ruling out Ground and Rock thanks to Sandstorm and Ice thanks to Hail. That left Ash's possible other type as Dragon, Psychic, Water, Bug or Fighting, if he had one at all, and left Pikachu looking very worried. Are you going to stop now? He asked. Seeing all that happened to Ash is giving me anxiety. Pikachu thinks we should stop, Ash said. It's been helpful though. He glowed faintly. It's the first time I've had a chance to practice recover. You're a good kid, Ash, Norman said. I don't think I'll be this optimistic if I was in a situation like yours. I figured that it'd be a good chance to get a gym battle, Ash replied. Now to win my first home Pokemon badge. Now, that I can do, Norman agreed. Since you don't have any home badges, we'll give you the choice. Do you want this to be a serious battle where I try at a high level, or something easier? I don't know if you've got Pokemon you want to train up from here or not. Something part way up the scale would be best, Ash decided. I got some of the Pokemon L used in the Silver Conference with me, but mostly Fanpy is new and young and unknown is new. Then there's my friend, who could take part if she wants. What do you think? I think I could give it a go! L. Lashes squeak back. Think Norman's been nice so far. But I'm not very experienced. Oh, so that's how Pikachu is flying, Norman decided. This is such a weird situation, Max said quietly. She says she's okay with it, so it'll be her first battle, Ash decided. Ash opened with Fanpy, thanks to Lashes giving him the right Pokeball, and Norman's response was a Vigoroth. Oh, boy, time for a battle. Fanpy said. What should I know about this one, Ash? They're active, I think, Ash told him, as Norman signaled for the battle to begin. Let's go. Roll out. Fanpy used roll out, and Vigoroth dodged to the side B for countering with a scratch. Attack. Stay on the move, Vigoroth, Norman said. As Fanpy gets faster he'll hit harder, but he'll also have more trouble steering. Fanpy went back in the other direction. Wah! And get ready to use flamethrower, Norman added. Now. Swerve. Ash called, and Fanpy leaned sharply to the left. It shed a bit of his momentum, but it also meant he turned much more sharply then. Vigoroth was expecting and hit the normal type a stunning blow that sent them staggering backwards. Great. Ash said, as Fanpy uncurled for a moment to shake off the soot from the flamethrower. Keep it up. After Vigoroth, Norman sent out a slacking, which knocked Fanpy quite easily through the wall and then had a lot more trouble with Unknown. Unknown, for their part, had a lot more trouble with slacking. The big burly Pokemon hit hard when it could be bothered to hit. And it shrugged off a lot of hidden power attacks, but eventually enough hidden power fightings proved decisive and knocked slacking out. Now, you said she's not very experienced, so I've picked Blissey, Norman said, sending the normal type out. She's tough, but, well, let's see if you can deal with her. Pikachu crossed from Lash's back to Ash's back, and Lashes decloaked. But that, Max began, pointing. Isn't that, there's a legendary Pokemon. She's beautiful, May whispered. Wow. Lashes waved, a bit embarrassed, then focused on Blissey. Okay, Ash, what should I do? Begin with Headbutt. Ash said. Got it. Lashes replied, actually using the move this time, and knocked Blissey through the wall. Right, Norman mused. Physics. I should remember to discuss that first. A few minutes later, Blissey had been retrieved and Norman got out one of his badges. This is the balance badge, he said, crouching down to make it easier on Ash, and Ash took it. Then looked around. There it is again. That voice, right? Pikachu asked. What did it say this time? 3 bangs whose power can hold both time and space fixed, Ash repeated. Did I change color? I don't think I did. Can't see any sign from here, Pikachu reported. Change color? Norman repeated. And what voice? When I won my first badge after changing, it changed what color I was, Ash replied. That was the rising badge. Pikachu, can you get my badge case? And I heard a voice, which said something else about 3 bangs. That's funny. It's like it's talking about the same thing. Record it before you forget it, Pikachu advised. Like you did with the rising badge one. Ash demonstrated changing color, and Norman frowned. You know, I think you might actually be pure normal, but we can't prove it for sure. Yet, he said. "We've got an idea for a test, but why don't you come back here once you've got a few more badges?" "Sure," Ash agreed. "Now, about those tips on being normal type," Norman resumed. "From a philosophical point of view, normal is the state where you could be anything. That's why Eevee is normal, and the normal Pokemon often have a wide variety of moves they can learn." May ended up deciding to follow Ash on his journey of self-discovery. Somewhat to May's embarrassment, so did her little brother, who said it'd be far more educational than school could ever be. An. Q 562 Chapter 7, The Book of Rust. "Bro, is this what being a Pokemon trainer is like?" May asked, some way along the coast from Petalburg to Rust. "Bro, I don't know what I imagined, but it was never like this." Max looked troubled. "I don't think our experience is normal." He looked over at Brock, who'd rejoined Ash after, in his words, finding out that everything was actually fine at home. "Is it normal?" "I've only ever traveled around with Ash myself, so I couldn't tell you," Brock answered. "But as a gym leader, I did see a lot of trainers come through." He began to check points off on his hands. A lot of trainers who came for the first badge only had one Pokemon, or maybe two. Even trainers who came for their fourth badge often didn't have a full team, and by that point the number of trainers really started to drop off. Ash is just really good at befriending Pokemon, not even capturing them in the normal way, and that started well before he became a Pokemon. And I'm mostly sure that he's particularly good at encountering unusual Pokemon, as well. "You mean like Unknown and Talo?" May said. "And Lashes? Guess I can see how they're unusual, but is that really typical for him?" They looked over at where Ash was coaching Lashes through a kind of corkscrew movement in the air, having Talo demonstrate as someone who knew it already. Talo being so resistant to electricity is like Pikachu, who can do some strange things with electricity, Brock told them. "I've never met an electric type as strong as Pikachu before." "Maybe that's Zapdos we met once." "Zapdos?" Max repeated. "That's a legendary Pokemon." "Yes," Brock agreed simply. "Pikachu is strong, don't forget it. But even the Pokemon he met in Kanto are unusual as well. I think being with Ash has always meant, and will always mean, that things are a little strange." Not long afterwards, they got another example of how things were a little strange. "Who are those guys?" Max asked. "May, did you meet them before?" May shook her head, but Brock scowled and reached for a Pokeball. "It's Team Rocket," he said. Jessie laughed. "That's what you say," she said. "Behold, our Trevenant mech. It's perfection." James agreed. "Or, almost perfection, because there is only one source of perfection in this world. To present the world with imitations," Jessie announced. James put his hand over his heart. "To embrace our own purification. To denounce all senseless exploitation. And excuse another's illumination." James agreed. The two of them put on large hats. Jessie. "James. Everyone's welcome to the congregation," Jessie continued. "But Jirachi should wish for inspiration. Meowth, that's an oration." Meowth concluded. "What's Jirachi got to do with it?" May asked. You must be new," James said grandly. "Don't forget to make a donation." "Talo, let's handle this," Ash decided. "Unknown, come on out. Letter form. Talo, carry them into the mech." You're not beating us that easily, Jessie said, raising a mechanized arm to bring it down onto Talo and Unknown, only for the arm to stop in midair. Great work, Ash called to the invisible lashes. Now, Talo and Unknown, use hidden power. Start with electric. After several different kinds of hidden power had made the mech malfunction, the Onyx tail had made it explode, and that plus Pikachu had sent Jessie, James and Mio with hurtling off into the distance. A Trico dropped down in front of them. You're not a human, he said, pointing at Ash. But you were giving the orders. Why? I'm a Pokemon trainer, Ash replied, indicating himself by curling a hoof up. And my friend Brock is one too. May's not sure what kind of Pokemon trainer she wants to be, and some of them have different terms for them, so I guess she could be one or not. And Max isn't one. Interesting, Trico frowned. Your Pokemon did some strange things. Can any of them help us? Our tree is in trouble. Can we help with an injured tree? Ash said, repeating Trico's question for the humans. Unknown pulsed. That is within our capabilities, they stated. Oh, great. Ash brightened. Sounds like we can, Trico, so lead the way. Ash had to give Unknown the instruction to heal the tree, which was something to do with root access. The exact wording was a bit unclear, but once it was sorted out, the Trico who'd approached Ash was so impressed that he volunteered to join Ash's team. I think I'm starting to see what you mean, Max told Brock. That's Ash for you, Brock agreed. Show me again, Pikachu? Ash asked. Sure. Pikachu agreed, loping back to Ash, then turned around and used quick attack again. Ash watched as Pikachu darted off, then focused and tried to do the same. That just resulted in him galloping along, which worked for a few seconds until he realized what he was doing and stumbled, but, while he didn't trip over entirely, it wasn't the move he'd used before. Maybe we're doing this wrong, Pikachu considered. You're trying to run fast, but instead what you need is a sudden discrete burst of lots of speed. Right? Ash replied, thinking. Right. So when Lashes uses hit but she's flying as fast as she normally does, it's just she's controlling how she hits the target so she doesn't get a big headache. But when you use quick attack, then you speed up because of the attack. And when you used whatever that was, you just blurred forwards, Pikachu agreed. So it's something different. He tapped his paw on the ground. Maybe we should try this, Ash. Hey, Lashes. Lashes put down her plate and flew over. Yes? Pikachu tossed her Ash's spare hat. Go and put that somewhere that we can see it a long way away on the ground. Hey. Ash complained. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing, Pikachu said, as Lashes zipped off to put the hat on a stump a couple of 100 yards away. Now, try to go and get that hat, but you're not allowed to run or even trot. He raised his voice again. And Lashes, pick up the hat again when Ash is halfway there. So, what's it like cooking for so many different Pokemon? Max asked. I never really thought about it before. Well, usually I start with generic flavors, but you can get some quite varied mixies. Once you know the specific needs of the Pokemon, Brock replied, stirring a big pot of curry. And it's always helpful to add in something that's more human food styled, especially for Pokemon like Lashes, and for Ash too, but everyone likes some variety. He showed off some notes. Really, It's like cooking for lots of younger siblings, all of whom have different tastes. Another way Pokemon are different, May said, then threw a small ball of yarn for Torchic. Her fire type ran for it, snagged it before it had stopped moving, and threw it up into the air to bounce on his head. She smiled at how proud he was. Looks like that was especially effective on yarn. Should I be teaching him a move, though? Moves can come in time, Brock said. A bond between trainer and Pokemon is really important to build, though. Then there was a sort of bang noise, and Talo took off to see what was going on. I've done that move again, Ash called. Since Ash didn't really know what it meant to ease off on something, the next half hour or so was notable for how many times he went rock-heading across Pikachu's impromptu move learning area until he was finally able to get it to fire off when he needed to. It's tiring, though, he added. My legs ache a lot now. Well, if it's a move that's draining to the Pokemon who uses it, that would explain it, Brock said. Actually, let's see what it is. Lashes got out Ash's Pokédex, passed it to Pikachu, and Pikachu stepped back a bit to check the updated information. There is a new one on here, he said. Is that a move name or a description? The phone rang. Norman picked it up. Hello, May. It's great to hear from you, sweetheart. How are you doing? Pause. Rust bro, huh? That sounds like... Oh, you saw a contest? Norman laughed. It sounds like you had a lot of fun. Well, it's definitely something you could do, May. No, I wouldn't mind at all. And how's Torchic doing? Another pause. Torchic and Wurmple, sorry. It sounds like they're getting on great. Anything else you want to mention before Norman stopped? May, he said, after a longer pause. I'm going to hand you to your mother in a moment. That's not because I don't want to hear from you, I really do. I want to hear how Max is doing as well. But I'm going to have to spend some time first getting over the idea of Ash being a normal type with extreme speed because that is practically the Mew of the normal type. He passed the phone over to Caroline. Dear? Caroline said, after a moment. What does May mean? She mentioned that to Ash and he said he saw one once. This looks like the right place, Ash said. Brock, that's right. Well, I thought the right place was the gym, but more fool me, Brock replied. I wonder if there's a rock-type gym leader out there who doesn't have to take care of lots of kids. You were a rock-type gym leader, weren't you? May asked. Or you still are? Norman picked it up. Hello, May. It's great to hear from you, sweetheart. How are you doing? Pause. Rust bro, huh? That sounds like... Oh, you saw a contest? Norman laughed. It sounds like you had a lot of fun. Well, it's definitely something you could do, May. No, I wouldn't mind at all. And how's Torchic doing? Another pause. Torchic and Wurmple, sorry. It sounds like they're getting on great. Anything else you want to mention before Norman stopped? May, he said, after a longer pause. I'm going to hand you to your mother in a moment. That's not because I don't want to hear from you, I really do. I want to hear how Max is doing as well. But I'm going to have to spend some time first getting over the idea of Ash being a normal type with extreme speed because that is practically the Mew of the normal type. He passed the phone over to Caroline. Dear? Caroline said, after a moment. What does May mean? She mentioned that to Ash and he said he saw one once. This looks like the right place, Ash said. Brock, that's right. Well, I thought the right place was the gym, but more fool me, Brock replied. I wonder if there's a rock-type gym leader out there who doesn't have to take care of lots of kids. You were a rock-type gym leader, weren't you? May asked. Or you still are? I am, Brock agreed. I'm not on duty now. But, then again, I'm still around lots of kids. 3, anyway. Hey. Ash protested, then knocked on the school door. Are you here to challenge Roxanne? The receptionist asked, through an intercom. We get a lot of people doing that. You should go back to the gym, she'll be there in half an hour. That's quick, Max replied. Or, slow, depending on if she's supposed to be available right now. She's teaching Pokemon classes anyway, the receptionist replied. It just gets turned into a practical lesson. Oh, how many badges do you have? 21, but 4 of them are from the Orange Islands and only 1 is from Hone. Ash answered. I'm planning on using one of my new Hone Pokemon and one of my veterans from Kanto first. Thank you, the receptionist replied. I'll make sure Roxanne knows that. That seems efficient, Pikachu said. Actually, so far Hone gyms seem very well organized. I guess they are, Ash agreed, as they turned to head back to the Rust Bro gym. So far we haven't had anyone whose Pokemon was sick, who refused to battle, who was just giving away badges, who refused to let boys in. Ash, she was fine letting boys in, she just didn't like it when you insulted her perfume, Brock countered. Who hid their gyms, got Team Rocket to handle the gym battles, or turn challengers into dolls, Ash concluded. So, you know. Great so far. I'm glad you don't want to do the gym challenge, May admitted softly. I'm worried, Max replied. I do want to. At the Rust Bro gym, Ash pranced back and forth a bit as they waited in the lobby. You're okay with this, right? He asked, glancing back. Lashes, you know which one's which? Yep, Lashes confirmed. I'm sure it'll go great, Ash. True. Ash agreed. It's like with Harrison, right? Even if I don't win the badge today, it's just a reason to improve for next time. He chuckled. Of course, it's easier to remember that if you haven't just lost the battle. The doors opened, and Ash went ahead. On the other side of the arena was a young woman in a dress, and seated on the rows of seats behind her was what looked like a whole school class. Greetings, Challenger, the woman said. My name is Roxanne. I have to say, you're very young for a Pokemon gym veteran. You should know that you're not meant to send out 2 Pokemon at once, especially before the match rules are given. Can I see your trainer card? Oh, sure, Ash said. But, Pikachu's my friend and he doesn't like Pokeball, so he never goes into his Pokeball, and my other Pokemon is here to help me send out my team, not to fight. I haven't sent any out yet. Roxanne blinked. Wait, you're the challenger? I thought it was that kid next to Brock. I'm Ash Ketchum. Ash introduced himself. I don't know what Pokemon I am yet, but I have a valid trainer card if you still want to check that. What are the match rules? It's going to be 2 Pokemon aside, Roxanne said. And no, Don't need to check your trainer card. When you're ready, send out your first Pokemon. I think I just got insulted somehow? Max whispered to Brock. Why does she recognize you? Rock-type gym leaders, probably, Brock replied. While they were talking, Lashes took a Pokeball from Ash's bag and dropped it for him to take. It went clink as he tapped it with his hoof, then he held it out. Go, Trico. Graveler, Roxanne responded. Rock throw. Dodge, Trico. Ash called. Then, use that rock to change direction and use pound. Roxanne nodded. Interesting, she said. Keep using rock throw, Graveler. Class, what can we learn from Ash's orders? One of the kids put their hand up. Gracie, she invited. Why is the trainer a white Stantler? Gracie said. Is that ring real gold? Another asked. Did that Pokeball float out of his bag? After several minutes, Graveler was swaying on his feet a little. Trico wasn't hurt but exhausted from all the dodging he'd been doing, and Roxanne had finally managed to move. The question's off Ash to Ash's Pokemon. Is it that he doesn't know a grass move? Gracie eventually asked. That's correct, Roxanne said, trying not to sigh in relief. Using pound against rock type, which is a not very effective move, is a sign that a grass type doesn't have a strong or even neutral move. That goes doubly when the rock type is also ground type, as there's a shared weakness there. Come on back, Trico. Ash called. Great work. Bulbasaur, your turn. Ash recalled Trico, then sent him out again to watch. Bulbasaur appeared on the field as well, rolled his neck a bit, then used Razor Leaf and slammed Graveler backwards. And that's an example of a Pokemon with a grass-type move, Roxanne went on. While Graveler was tired out from being hit so many times with pound, you can see the difference. She recalled Graveler and sent out a Nose Pass instead. Nose Pass doesn't have a double weakness to grass, though. Sandstorm. Dig. Ash called, squinting and using foresight to make sure he could see what was going on. Roxanne blinked. Dig? Really? Now. Ash continued, once Bulbasaur was underground. Use Vine Whip up through the hole. Ooh, this should be good, Pikachu said, leaning forwards. Lashes, watch this. You know, I'm not entirely sure that Vine Whip should be able to do that, Roxanne complained, once Bulbasaur was done. But I can't say you didn't do well. You've won my badge. She held it out, and Ash took it, his ring immediately changing from gold to bronze, and the gems set in it changing to a sort of creamy topaz color. And thank you for watching this video, and also I hope the new fanfic I have found seen. The last one was well like, so I'm thinking of a Dragon Ball what if, so let me do. Think and like and subscribe. Bye.